disgraceful.
It is.
Disgraceful. And so when you make that official apology, I'll talk about like how I felt and why I did certain jokes. And I have no apologies to you at all. And I'm glad I did it. And I would do it again if you let me back in the country.
Which I assume they won't.
I will not be allowed back in the country for jokes.
Rob Schneider is not holding back. In a recent tirade, the comedian unloaded on Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, calling him disgraceful and unapologetically airing out his frustrations with Trudeau's leadership. This time, Rob's not just making a joke. He's fed up, and he's telling it like it is. His boldness isn't just limited to harsh critiques. He's flat out saying that Canadian politics have become a national joke under Trudeau's rule. According to Rob, Trudeau is not leading. He's dividing the country, making policies that only fuel further controversy and creating a situation that has become so laughable it deserves mocking. It doesn't stop there. Rob, in his usual blunt style, asks the burning question: what exactly is Trudeau doing? He points out how Trudeau and his administration have failed to act when it matters most, leaving the country in a state of chaos, where the only thing that seems to thrive is empty promises. It's clear that Rob thinks Trudeau's so-called leadership is all talk and no substance. But wait, things take an even darker turn. Remember when Trudeau openly praised China's authoritarian regime, calling it a model for economic success? Yeah, that didn't age well. Rob quickly jumps on this, calling out the absurdity of Trudeau admiring a dictatorship while claiming to champion democracy. For Rob, this isn't just a political disagreement. It's a matter of standing up for basic freedoms. As a comedian, he's used to speaking freely, but in Trudeau's Canada, it seems that the ability to do so is being severely limited. And then, Rob drops a bombshell. He recounts how he was banned from entering Canada, all because of some jokes that crossed the line. While other celebrities might shy away from controversy, Rob sees it as a badge of honor, boldly proclaiming that he would do it all over again if given the chance. The reason behind his exile? His refusal to stay silent about the Canadian government's actions, especially when it comes to Trudeau's overreach and his policies that, according to Rob, do more harm than good. In one of his most pointed remarks, Rob shares his growing concern for future generations. As a grandfather, he fears for the freedoms his children and grandchildren will lose in a country where free speech is becoming a crime. Trudeau's leadership, Rob argues, is putting Canada on a dangerous path, one where dissenting opinions are no longer tolerated. Rob Schneider might be exiled from Canada, but he's far from backing down. His criticisms don't just stop at the jokes. He's sounding the alarm on what he sees as the erosion of Canadian values under Trudeau's rule. While Canadians may have been too polite to speak up, Rob's not holding back. For him, this isn't just about politics. It's about defending the very freedoms that make Canada what it is, or at least, what it used to be. So, what's the takeaway here? For Rob Schneider, it's clear. Trudeau's Canada isn't the land of freedom it once claimed to be. And for Rob, the fight against political correctness and government overreach is just getting started. No matter what backlash he faces, he's determined to continue calling out the absurdity of it all. Trudeau's Canada may have kicked him out, but Rob's message is louder than ever, ringing through the political discourse, one punchline at a time, but it doesn't stop there. Rob Schneider isn't just making waves in the political scene, he's challenging the very foundation of what's become of Canada's values. His remarks are not just about making fun of Trudeau, though there's plenty of that, but about something much deeper. The comedian, who made his name with sharp wit and biting humor, is now using his platform to sound the alarm about the state of freedom in Canada. One of Rob's most pointed critiques is about how the Canadian public has allowed themselves to be polite to the point of paralysis. While Canadians are often praised for their politeness, Rob sees this as a double-edged sword. In his eyes, the country's polite nature has allowed the government to push forward policies that, according to him, undermine the very freedoms they hold dear. It's a type of silence that is making things worse, not better. Rob doesn't mince words when talking about how Canadian citizens need to wake up. He's not the first to speak out against Trudeau, but his celebrity status and unfiltered perspective have brought a new level of attention to the issue. To him, it's a matter of standing up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it comes at the cost of being ostracized. And Rob's experience isn't just in the spotlight. He knows what it's like to face backlash. But as much as Rob roasts Trudeau's administration, he's also speaking to Canadians directly, especially the ones who are too afraid to speak their minds. He points to Hollywood as a reflection of what's happening in Canada, a place where questioning the status quo or challenging the government's actions can lead to consequences. Whether it's losing friendships or being labeled as an outsider, Rob emphasizes that standing up for what's right often carries a personal price. But for him, it's a price worth paying. This political culture, according to Rob, is dangerous not only for comedians but for everyone who values free expression. He's not only worried about his own freedoms but also about the future generations who will inherit a country where speaking up can lead to being silenced. Rob's experience with Canada's government is a reflection of a broader problem he sees with the global trend toward silencing dissent. For Rob, Trudeau's leadership represents a chilling shift toward authoritarianism, where freedoms are curtailed in the name of political correctness and social agendas. It's not just about the policies that Trudeau enacts, it's about the precedent they set. The idea that those who challenge or mock the government are punished, and in Rob's case, banned from the country, is something that sends a strong message to all Canadians. Conform or face the consequences. But Rob, of course, isn't backing down. Despite the ban and the criticism, he remains unapologetic. He made his jokes, he made his stance clear, and he wouldn't change a thing. His stance on free speech and political accountability is unwavering, and he's not the least bit afraid of the fallout. He's showing Canadians, through his refusal to be silenced, that it's not just about political humor. It's about fighting for the right to speak freely in a society that seems to be losing that very right. It's clear now that Rob Schneider's beef with Trudeau is bigger than just a political disagreement. It's about the erosion of democratic values and freedoms. By calling out Trudeau, Rob is doing more than making people laugh. He's pushing for a necessary cultural shift. He's encouraging Canadians to stop being passive bystanders and to start holding their leaders accountable, not just through votes, but through their voices. For Rob, it's no longer just about jokes, it's about making a statement. A statement that resounds beyond his comedy shows or Twitter posts, echoing through the political landscape of Canada and reminding everyone that freedom of speech is too important to let slip away quietly. Whether you agree with him or not, one thing is clear. Rob Schneider's battle with Justin Trudeau is a reflection of a broader fight for free expression, and it's far from over.